Major changes are coming to tenancy agreements under the new Renters' Rights Bill. Stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll understand how fixed-term tenancies are changing, what it means for landlords, and how to stay compliant.
Hi, Adam and Abs here. Welcome back to our channel where we help landlords stay compliant and improve rental performance. So firstly, let's break down the change. So currently, most private tenancies were fixed-term agreements, commonly 6 months or 12 months. These agreements give landlords a defined period before they could issue a Section 21 notice, an eviction notice. This gives some level of assurance and cash flow predictability for the duration of the fixed term, and also gives the tenant that comfort that he has a fixed tenancy. With the new Renters' Right Bill, will mean it'll be the end of fixed terms and it will just be rolling periodic tenancies.
Yeah. So, what is a periodic tenancy? Well, a periodic tenancy rolls month to month or like week to week, depending on the payment frequency, and continues indefinitely until either the tenant gives a notice or the landlord applies for possession using a Section 8 ground when Renters' Right Bill comes in. This gives tenants more flexibility, but changes the way landlords plan and manage their rental properties.
What can that mean practically wise? So you can no longer rely on a Section 21 no-fault eviction to regain possession at the end of the fixed term. You will only be able to gain possession if either the tenant gives you 2 months notice, the tenant abandons the property and disappears. Thirdly, a valid Section 8 ground is served. Section 8 grounds are scenarios where possession is deemed as essential, so such as the landlord wanting to sell the property, the landlord or their close relative needs to move in, persistent rent arrears, serious antisocial behavior, or property damage. So in all these scenarios, you will need to ensure you have sufficient proof to prevent any backlash from tenants, authorities, and particularly RROs, which are rent repayment orders. Should a tenant claim that you have unlawfully had them removed from the property, it can be a hefty bill to pay.
So what are some scenarios that landlords should expect? Well, tenants won't be tied into a 6 or 12-month agreement anymore. They will have the ability to move out more easily with less financial restrictions, such as early termination fees or paying long periods of double rent when they're paying for 2 properties during the transition. Also, where there is a market spike in August and September of the letting cycle, expect this to come down slightly as more tenants opt to move in for quieter times of the year, because rental prices during those peak periods is typically around about £10 to £15 more expensive than the kind of rest of the market. So understandably, some tenants would choose to move out in more amenable times.
So yeah, we see the most of our tenants move in and out in August, September time, which is great because we could be able to fill properties quicker. But if they move out in December, then we have to try and find a tenant as quickly as possible in that time. Low season can mean a lower price achieved for the landlord, unfortunately.
Also, there will be likely more tenants, particularly students or long adults, giving notice to vacate in mid-December, early to mid-December. This is so they can spend a lot of December, Christmas, and a little bit of January back at the family home before coming back to key cities. So you can expect students, particularly international students, wanting to end their tenancy as their term ends around about May, June, to head back to their family home or country of origin. For standard house share properties, the bill will introduce mandatory possession ground 4A, to serve a 4-month notice to student tenants should a landlord wish to get another group of students. Landlords wanting to use the specific grounds for notice will need to be able to do the following. Prove that the new group are all full-time students or will be students if it's their first year of their course. Landlords can only serve 4 months notice to expire between the 1st of June and the 30th of September only. Also, landlords will not be able to serve this notice if they signed up the group more than 6 months in advance. So currently most landlords sign up tenants around 10 months in advance in October, November, ready for the next academic year. So this is going to be a bit frustrating for landlords, this change.
So how can landlords adapt and stay ahead as much as possible? So 1, update your processes for serving notices and collecting evidence for Section 8 grounds.
Because you need it.
Communicate clearly with tenants about the shift from periodic tenancy agreements and what the expectations are. Particularly for group tenancies, any individual giving notice in a group, so say 4 or 5 people, one of them gives notice, will automatically mean the whole group gives notice. So something to be wary of. Also consider reviewing rent collection and arrears procedures. timely rent collection will now be even more important if possession depends on arrears.
So a key takeaway, the move from fixed term to periodic tenancies is a major shift in landlord to tenant dynamics. While it gives tenants more stability, landlords who plan carefully and stay organized will still be able to manage their portfolios effectively. If you want to stay ahead of all these changes, click in the link in the description to join our next free landlord webinar, where we'll be going through all things compliance and how to stay ahead of the Renters' Rights Bill.
If you found this video useful, don't forget to like or subscribe and help you stay informed and protected. We'll see you on the next one.